Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. So today I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on Aquaman.
Arthur, go home. Do not ever come back to Atlantis.
There was a time when I wanted to meet my little brother more than anything. If only I'd known what a maniac he would turn out to be.
You are not going to win this. A war is coming to the surface whether you like it or not.
You know I can't let that happen.
Aquaman, rated PG-13. Experience it in IMAX December 21st.
Now, Aquaman is one of those films that I remember when it first got announced. It wasn't something that I was, really looking forward to. I was going to see it just because I do try to see, pretty much all of the superhero films, whether it be Marvel or DC. So want to let you guys know, too, that this is coming from the perspective of a fan that, I like both Marvel and DC, so I don't favor one or the other, just so you guys know. And so, I saw the first couple trailers for this movie, and it wasn't really anything that blew me away. But then I do remember, I think it might have been the one that came out around Comic-Con, that I was like, okay, that looks cool, but it still wasn't something that I was like, oh my god, I can't wait for this film to come out, So I wasn't really sure what to expect going into this movie. It looked like there was a lot of CGI, so that had me a little worried too. But I gotta tell you guys that this might be my biggest surprise of the year as far as movies go. I had an absolute blast with this film. First off, we'll start off with just, the director, James Wan. Hats off to him and his visual effects team, because, man, they knocked this thing out of the park. Definitely recommend if you get a chance to. I would see this on the biggest screen possible. I know initially I saw it on like a standard screen, so I'm actually hopefully next weekend going to try and see it like on an IMAX, because the visual effects in this movie are amazing. Atlantis, all the different creatures, like the seahorses, sharks and stuff like that. There's like crabs. They looked so cool, and I can't wait to see what it looks like, on a big screen. So definitely check it out in IMAX if you can. James Wan, his directing, he has to be one of my favorite directors, out at the moment. He's done everything, horror with the Insidious movies, The Conjuring. He's done Fast 7. Now, he's done Aquaman. So I really think that going forward, hopefully they bring him back definitely to do like an Aquaman 2. But it would be, I think, a smart idea for DC to also bring him back for like some other DC films as well, because this man did a great job directing this film. So first thing that I really liked about it. Second, Jason Momoa as Aquaman. He, we could tell that this guy was having a blast in this role. He was, fantastic. The fight scenes that he had, I would say the one that stuck out to me the most, which you see a little bit of it in the trailer, is the submarine fight. That was, done really well. All of the fights were really, choreographed really well. And there's a couple other ones throughout the film too. But yeah, he kicked ass in this role. Definitely, they made Aquaman, cool again. So, which actually I don't know if he was ever really cool in the first place, but they made Aquaman cool. So he did a great job. Overall, I mean, the cast, there really wasn't anyone that I think that, did a bad job. I liked, Amber Heard as Mara. She kicked ass. Some of her, I won't go into too much detail, but just like her powers, that she's able to kind of manipulate water. And she has one specific scene where it's the chase scene in Italy, and she's in a wine cellar. And that's all I'll say. But that, like, I remember watching that gave me chills. So she was really cool. Dolph Lundgren's in this movie. William Dafoe's in this movie, and they both have, Dolph Lundgren's role is a little bit smaller. William Dafoe has a little bit more to do with it. He kind of helps train Aquaman, in the beginning when he's like younger. But both of them were really cool. There's also Patrick Wilson, who's worked with James Wan before. He plays Aquaman's brother Orm, or Ocean Master. And he was a decent villain. Wasn't anything like outstanding, but I thought he did a good job. He had a pretty, solid reason for motives behind what, he was trying to go to war with the surface, and because, he felt like they're polluting the waters and basically, destroying like the earth, and he feels like, the ocean should kind of take over, which, I totally get that with, all the stuff that you see on the news with, the waters being polluted and stuff like that. the message was there, and it wasn't something that I felt like they hammered, over your head. So he did a good job. One character that I felt like didn't get enough time, and I hope we get to see more of him, is the guy who plays Black Manta. He was really cool, and his costume design was amazing. Like I said, he's not in the film too much, and I hope we get to see more of him in the future because, yeah, the couple scenes that he was in, he killed it. So definitely they did a great job bringing Black Manta to the big screen. As far as just like, overall throughout the movie, you get to see like, you go to different cities, you have Atlantis, you have the couple of like different like kingdoms, like cities. One of them is like the Trench, which is actually like pretty scary because, as you can imagine, it's pretty, it's dark down there. And so that was cool. The only things that I can think of in this film that really didn't work was sometimes the comedy was a little misplaced. There would be like, like an action scene or a somewhat serious scene, and there would be kind of a little bit of forced comedy in there. But it was never to the point that it like took me out of the film. So that was good. But there was definitely a couple of times we were just like, that probably could have like left that out. And then the only other thing that I can think of too is just like sometimes the pacing was a little off, but again, it wasn't to the point where it like took me out of the movie. So, couple scenes like more so specifically in like they go to like the desert, and that felt a little like choppy, lit out of place at times, but nothing that really brought like the movie down for me. Overall, like I said, I absolutely love this film. This was a huge surprise for me because I was kind of worried going into this film. I thought that, just with DC's track record, and like I said, I'm not Marvel or DC, I like them both, but just with DC's past track record, I was a little worried about what this could turn out, to be. And I think, honestly, if it was anyone else besides James Wan, this film could have been really bad. This guy, he knows what he's doing behind the camera. And, the CGI, that was the one thing, like I mentioned earlier, that I was a little worried about. But the CGI looks fantastic. There's really nothing that the only moment or a couple moments that I can think of is Patrick Wilson, his hair. The way it's just kind of like flowing in the water. It looks a little weird. Just because, like, I know him, from other films, but that's like a small nitpicky thing. But yeah, overall, I had a great time with this. I highly suggest you guys go and check this out. By no means is it a perfect movie. I went into this, again, like I said, being a little unsure, but I had a blast with it. There's definitely some cheese thrown in there, so expect that. But I think if you guys go into this with an open mind, that you're going to really have a good time. And I definitely recommend, Aquaman. I'll be picking it up when it comes out on Blu-ray. I give this film a solid 9 out of 10. So if you guys have seen the film, let me know what you think down below in the comments. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit subscribe as well, and hit that thumbs up button. It really helps me out. I appreciate, all the love that you guys have shown me so far, where I'm still, a pretty small channel. And make sure you guys check back for more Pulp Culture with Pat. Have a happy holidays.